Hey, Shadow. Hi. Such a good boy. It's crazy how big they're getting. Hi. I wonder, do many of y'all have ever questioned, what is work? What's the purpose of work? What is it that we're supposed to be doing with work? And how is it that work is supposed to be able to help us? My name is Mark Anthony DeBose Jr., and I was born July 4th of 1986. Today, a very interesting word came to me that I just can't stop thinking about, and that word is work. And the concept of work, and concept of what we look at, what is work today, and how work is able to help us today, and what is the purpose of work, and what is the purpose of everything that we do around work. Where I feel like we are running into a situation today that we're doing this term work in a very, very wrong way. And I feel like a lot of us, how many of y'all go to say work? You go do something for somebody, even say for yourself, where you do it all day long. Then you decide to come home and you decide that you're done with that work for the day, and you get home and you realize you quite didn't do anything. You didn't help anybody. You didn't get anybody's lives in a better situation. You didn't please anybody. You didn't make sure that there was any purpose made. That in reality, when you got home, you kind of feel a little guilty, like I didn't do much. And not much for some people. Some people run into I feel like I scammed a few people today that I shouldn't have. I feel like I sold some people some stuff that they really didn't need. So then you end up at your end of the day at work of feeling a little sad, a little disgusted at the same time, of wondering what it is that you're doing to be able to make sure that you're able to keep on collecting this stuff that we call money, to keep on going to this work, to keep on doing what you think that you need to do is survive in a way of doing that. That I wonder how many of y'all run in this situation where you feel like the work that you're doing is not work to actually help anybody, but it's work that's just destroying and pissing more people off for you to just be able to get by and to be able to do some things. I wonder how many of y'all really just sit down and take a good hard look at yourself and just think, what does my work entail? What does my work actually do for the world? What does my work do for another person? What is my work actually bringing? What is the purpose of my work? Why is my work even here? And just simple questions like that I think a lot of us should really start to ask about our work that it is that we do. And sometimes we do what we need to do because we think we need to do it, because we run into situations where we think we need certain things to be able to live and to be able to survive on this planet, that we run into a situation that we start doing this said called work that is very damaging to others, because we think that we have to do what it is that we have to do to be able to survive. And when we do what we have to do to survive, we'll do some very ruthless things to other people just to be able to get by. And I wonder, how do you feel at the end of the day when you do work like that? Where not always is it a case of being, say, like a illicit drug dealer, a guy that's running the streets, or gal, or child that's running the streets, that's selling these drugs to this fentanyl, this heroin, this crack cocaine, this methamphetamines, and all that stuff, and selling all that, just thinking that you're doing something, you're selling and you're selling to people, and you go home and you just don't have any sort of conscience where you're just like, yeah, I had a good day, I made so much money. But I know inside of you, you're like, man, I probably destroyed someone's life today. I probably destroyed someone's family today. I probably destroyed someone's entire generational future today. I probably destroyed something. Where I know some of y'all go home and think that, and it's not just jobs like that I know we go to other jobs where we can go to other factories where we go home and we realize at that factory, you're doing the same stuff. You're doing all the same things where you're making things that would be, say, illegal on the streets to be able to sell and be able to use and to be able to consume. You're making and building and constructing things that are absolutely damaging to other people, that are misleading other people, that are setting people up for absolute failure. That you're constantly just building these products, putting these products together, manufacturing these products, and putting these products out to market. And then you could be a person that is a salesperson of that product that, so it's not just drugs. There's everything on the planet that can make you feel this way at the end of the day, that you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. But you could be the salesperson that's selling this stuff to people that they just really don't need. But you think that you have to do it because you think that you need the money that comes from it, and you think that that's going to be able to make you get by another day, or another week, or another month, or another year, or even a decade. But people nowadays, we don't stay with our work for more than a decade. We're constantly moving and cruising and doing different stuff, where I wonder, why is it that we do this work that can be so damaging and so ruthless to other people just so that we can get by? Why is it that we sell stuff to people that they just do not need? They don't need it. You know they don't need it. You know the product that you have, you know the product that you're creating and making that someone else does not need. They are not going to benefit in any way. And in reality, you know it's going to hurt them. You know it's going to damage them. You know it's going to hinder them, slow them down, and make them just be worse off if they do get your product that it is that you're selling. You know that. But yet you keep selling it to them. You keep producing it, you keep making it, you keep coming with your hard sales pitches, and you keep giving it to them knowing that they just do not need it, knowing that it is going to slow them down. How is it that we can do that as a people? How is it that we can still keep working for these corporations? How is it that we can keep working for ourselves from these corporations to keep on doing stuff like this, to keep on putting people in bad situations just so that you can get by, just so that you can have a good day, just so that you can get paid? I don't know, I just feel like I question a lot with what it is that I do on a day-to-day basis, and who it is that I talk, Oreo, let's get down, and who it is that I talk to, and where it is that I go and what it is that I do to make sure that I'm not in a situation where I'm trying to give someone something that they just do not need. I'm not trying to sell something to someone that they just do not need. I'm not trying to put pressure on someone to give them anything that is going to slow them down, that is going to damage them. And that's why for me, I've done a lot of shifts and a lot of changes in the type of, say, work that I like to do and like to provide and like to be able to give to people. That I used to do some things that I felt really misleading with what I was doing, where I was trying to get you to do something that I know wasn't going to make your life any better. I know it wasn't going to be able to put a smile on your face. I know that you weren't going to learn anything to be able to teach someone else or teach your children or even teach yourself to figure out how to keep on growing with yourself. I know you weren't going to do anything with that. That I was just selling you stuff that in reality you were going to hurt yourself more with what it is that I was selling you. And it put a lot of thought in me with having a good understanding of, especially today, of knowing who God is and what God's all about and the type of work that I feel like God brings to you and brings to us to be able to put out there to the market. That he's not going to bring us to be able to put stuff to market that's going to damage people. And he wants us to have a little bit more trust in him, a little bit more faith in him, to know, to get away and separate ourselves from places and people that are just, you notice that you're selling stuff like, for instance, some of this, I don't want to hate on too much of it, but some of it is lies, some of it is deception, some of it is very, very misleading, such as a lot of this insurance that is being sold out here. That is the number one moneymaker in reality in our world, is insurance. And it's very interesting that you're down there on low level selling insurance, but yet your bosses and your buildings that you go to and everything that you use is just going, growing, and booming and cruising in a way that is just absolutely outrageous. It's crazy. And you're selling stuff to some people that, not all of it, but most of it, is people don't need. People don't actually even think about the concept of needing and wanting and actually able to even utilize when it comes time to even be able to use it. Because that's the part where I feel like gets very, very misleading, where you start to sell stuff to people that you know they can't actually use. You know that when the time comes that they need it, that it's not going to be there for them. And this is very unfortunate for me to read something in my one of my apps, my neighborhood app, of someone going to the hospital and having a $2,000 bill and realizing the insurance is only going to pay, 45% of it. That's just ridiculous. You're making people pay for stuff that they can't actually even use. How is that? How do you feel good with that? How do you get comfort in that? How do you feel like you're satisfying the world in that? How do you feel like you're helping people out, being able to get people in a good place by doing work that you know people can't use, people aren't able to actually get any goodness from, people aren't actually able to prosper from, and people are just only going to be irritated in the end with you and your company later on once they find out what it is that you're selling them just isn't what actually totally what it is that you were telling them it was. And I wonder, why is it that we constantly keep doing this as a people? Why is it that today, in reality, I feel like today of all times, that more and more of us do such work that we're just like not ever satisfied with? And I feel like that's a lot to deal with why the whole morale of a lot of people is just down. It's just horrible. Because you're doing stuff that you just don't want to do. You're doing stuff that you don't agree with, but yet you still keep doing it. Yet you show up again. Yet you still keep making it happen. Yet you just keep putting yourself in it and keep on forcing yourself to keep on going because you think you need to do it, because you think you need it to make this paper money, get this paper money to be able to do some things. But then you realize in the end, you're doing this position, you're in this job, you're doing this work, and you still don't have enough. You're still behind. You're still slacking. You're still lacking. You're still delayed. You're still not able to get what it is that you need to even be able to totally survive. That you're behind on some things that you're just not able to able to totally satisfy yourself with. So in the end, you realize you're doing this stuff, you don't like it, you're irritated with it, but yet you still just keep doing it. Why not like try to find to do something completely different? And that's where, for me, I feel like a lot of us really need to pump the brakes a second and really take a good hard look at ourselves and take a good hard look at what it is that we actually want to do on this planet. Take a good hard look at everything that's going on around us. That some of us need to just take a whole, I wouldn't even say 180, because some of us need to spin around and just get completely out like tornado style, hurricane style, and just go and do something completely different that you've just never even thought of and never even done before. To make sure that you're doing something that you're not damaging another person. To do something to make sure that you're not trying to sabotage another person. To just destroy another person's livelihood. Making sure that you're doing something that is actually going to be able to be good for other people. And I'm telling you, that's going to be a nice, good, awesome, smooth start to be able to have an awesome life on this planet. And not going home and feeling disgusted. Not going and doing all this work and then going home and feel like I need to drink and I need to smoke and I need to do all these crazy things just to try to get by so that I can wake up in the morning just to do it again. I feel like a lot of us run into that situation where we do some work, and even if the work isn't, say, damaging to another person, or it can be just damaging to your own self because you're doing it day after day, week after week, month after month, and you're finally moving to that first year and year after year, you realize you haven't gained any new skills. You haven't gained any new insight. You haven't been able to do anything that you wanted to do. You haven't pushed to market any ideas that you've had. You haven't been able to work on any projects that you wanted to work on because all your time is consumed into that work, and that work is forcing and just absolutely taking all your time away so that you actually can do anything. So yeah, when you do get home, you are very, very defeated because that work is purposely pushing your buttons all day, all the right ways, just pushing to make sure that you are just the right amount of irritated so that you just don't do what it is that you think you need to do. And you can go ahead and keep doing that. You can do that year after year after year, after decade after decade. Switch it from job to job, even if it is the same job. Doing the same one, the same work, the same thing. In the end, to realize you finished it, you're done with it. Now you just look around like, what now? What do I do now? Because you've never been able to do anything that, say, you wanted to do. You've always done something that they wanted to do. And you've always noticed that for them, they always keep growing and going and going and doing so good and doing so nice. The boss man always shows up every year with a brand new car, just better and better every single time, to the point that now you notice he's driving this nice $250,000 car, and he takes you guys and shows you a lot of the or their stuff and what they got going on and their plans and how they're growing, and buys a bunch of equipment that they just never even use and just has it just to have it and just keep doing that. But yet you struggling, and you are all constantly every day being pushed and pushed and pushed to the point of just like, what's the point of this? What's going on? Because I'm telling you, at the end, you're going to reach an end point that you can no longer, say, work for that company or work for any company, that you're no longer market ready for anything in reality. Now you're going to be in a situation that you're just like, what do I do now? What am I going to make happen now? Where is this going to lead me now? That you realize you just spent days and weeks and months and years, and some people, unfortunately, decades, in doing something that didn't allow you to do what it is that you want to do. And I want to challenge more people to just start doing more of what it is that you want to do. Start making it happen in small little steps of something that you just get inspiration of. Maybe I should do this. Because I'm telling you, the more that I say help people doing something that I feel like is just what I should be doing, is helping people working with some dogs. Helping people learn how to get a good understanding of how to work with these animals, how to get them to do what it is that you want them to do, when you want them to do it, and how you want them to do it. And you learn the technique of how to be able to work around their behavior, their attitude, their personality is the better word I guess I could say, to make sure that you are working with them, that you're not battling with them. And I feel like for me, I'm able to help people with doing something like that, and it's not a ridiculous, it's not something I'm going to sell you that I'm going to, or you going to, in the end of the day, think like I didn't get anything from this. Like you're going to end up getting something that you're going to end up remembering, using, utilizing day after day. I mean, minute after minute in reality. And I feel like a lot of us have a lot of skills inside of us where we can do that for other people, where we can build some stuff for somebody. And when you build something for somebody and you make it for them and you give it to them, and they're actually going to be able to use it and utilize it on a day-to-day basis, that person's going to constantly keep remembering you, constantly keep remembering where this came from, constantly keep remembering what's going on with this. Instead of just looking at you like you just gave them something, and now you gave them something that they can't use. You gave them something that's just pointless. You gave them something that's meaningless, just so that you can get one off real quick to just try to move forward and be able to make your money right now. That concept is just in my opinion, it's just ripping people off. It's just very, very deceiving. And there's no way that you can have a nice open conscience knowing that you're constantly just deceiving people with the work that you're constantly doing out here. Constantly just taking and not doing anything to make sure that people are actually good to go. Not giving something to someone that they actually need, that is actually going to make them thrive and survive and be able to have better on this planet. And I just challenge more people to just start focusing more on something that you could do to help somebody. And something to help somebody to be able to make sure that they're going to have a better life, an easier life, a smoother life. And be able to get them to have a good understanding of knowing that this is going to be able to make them better. Not giving them something that you know is just wishy-washy. It's just like, I know it's not going to be the best for you, but I need to make this sale because I just need to, because my boss man says if I don't make 5 this week, then I'm getting fired. And if I get fired, I'm not going to have no money. And I'm telling you, if you're living a life like that, you're struggling. You're struggling because you're making decisions that are not ethical. And when you start to do that over and over and over, you start to, in reality, just my opinion of Mark Anthony DuBose Jr., born July 4th of 1986. I feel like you stop knowing who God is. You stop having an understanding of the presence of what this world is all about. That I know that may challenge a lot of people when I say stuff like knowing who God is and understanding God and believing in God and respecting God and digging deep with God. That I know a lot of y'all probably just don't care about that. That I have a good understanding why. Because you're constantly every single day doing stuff to just push it away, that you don't know anything about it anymore, that you don't have anything inside of you anymore that is allowed to even just like let you know that somebody loves you more than just another human around you. Because another human around you, I'm telling you, just can't love you the same way. You, your own self, can't even love your own self the way that God loves you. And the more and more that we keep doing this deceiving stuff and this stuff to just rip people off and this stuff to just destroying other people's lives, the more and more you're getting away from knowing who God is. The more and more you're not going to have any sort of understanding of who he is and what he's all about. The more and more that you try to teach people how to do stuff that is just pushing them further and further away from God, the more and more that you're not yourself going to have any idea, any clue of who he is and what he's all about. And I wonder if you start to let a lot of that go, would God start coming back into your life to be able to show you what it is that you should be working on, where it is that you should be going. Because something with me that I know for a fact that the more that I put trust in him, the more that things just seem to line up for me in ways that I don't know how it happens. That I'm still am testing, challenging, pushing my own self with trying to make sure that what it is that I've got going on is the right way, the right thing, the right stuff to do. And for me, the way I'm testing and challenging and pushing it is a way that's kind of being I'm going to say I'm trying to be a bully to God sometimes, just to see what it is that he's actually capable of doing. Because he gives a lot of promises, and I'm testing his promises. I'm testing his ability to be able to make sure that he follows through on those promises. And that may sound a little weird. It may sound a little messed up. But at the same time, I know many people in that Bible that do the same way and have the same way of thinking and have the same concept behind them, because they need to not know what is real or not, because there's no way to know that or not. But for me, I just know what is real. There's not a way that I can say, give me this and make this happen, because that's not the way that I'm testing. That's not the way that I'm pushing. That's not the way that I'm seeking with this. I'm seeking it in a way of making sure that I want to help the person next to me. I want to be able to make sure that the people around me are able to grow. I want to make sure that people are able to have the real truth and be able to have a good understanding of it. I want to make sure that I'm a person that's able to stand up and be able to speak something and say something and show something to you to let you know exactly who God is, because I'm just a human being. And I feel like the more and more, I don't feel like I know the more and more that I just keep standing here doing this, the more that I'm starting to remove my own self, my own feelings, my own thoughts, my own ways, my own cares, my own being, to make sure that I can speak something directly to you, where you're just like, how are you talking to me? And I don't know you, and I don't know anything about you. I don't know where you live and what you do. I don't know what your work is. I don't know what it's about. But I do know that a lot of us, if not most of all of us, are doing some work that you are not happy with, you are not satisfied with, you are irritated actually with. And even more than that, you were pissed off. You were so mad, pissed off that every day you wake up and you're about to go there and you're just like, I don't want to do this no more. I know you're doing that. I know you're in a situation like that, but I don't know you. And that's why for me, I have to feel like I have to test God even more. I have to challenge him. I have to pressure him. I have to really dig deep to make sure that I'm doing what it is that I need to do to allow him to be able to speak through me, to be able to speak to you, to be able to get you to have a good understanding of stop doing what it is that you're doing so that you can do something for God. So that God can bring something into you so that you can do something of favor for him. So that you can start to be able to be one of him, to be able to make sure that you can keep on pushing and spreading the message along the same exact way that I feel like I'm here doing. I don't feel like I know like I'm doing what it is that I'm doing. I know I do this. I know I make this happen. I'm excited to be able to do this and make this happen. I'm excited to be able to change up some things, to be able to rearrange some things, to be able to make some stuff happen, to make sure that I always have a dedicated time slot, a dedicated area, a dedicated situation, a dedicated system to be able to get done what it is I need to get done, to be able to speak God's message. And with that, I just want to say thank you. And I want to thank God. I want to thank God more and more. And I'm extremely grateful for God more and more. And I'm extremely thankful for what it is that he keeps on giving to me, keeps on providing to me, that the more I keep testing him, the more I keep pressuring him, the more I keep putting on him saying, God, what is it that you really, really want for me to do? What is it that you really need me to do? What is it that you really desire for me to do? And really start to put it upon him. Stop thinking of myself and just allow myself to just sit down as what I like to say is a dead body. It's just, I'm just here. I'm just here. I'm just hanging out. I'm hanging out waiting for direction, because if I start to put the motions in, then I'm going to feel like I'm the one that created that and I'm the one that made that. So I just wait. I just hold out. I just say, you know what, God, you got it. Take it, do it, move it. And I'm so thankful that every time that I do this, every time that I keep releasing my own ways of trying to force myself and try to get in it, I'm just so thankful that he just keeps providing in a way that just keeps helping me in a way that he's helping me be able to make sure that his message keeps getting pushed forward. But at the same time, I know I have responsibilities when that stuff happens to me. I have responsibilities when things like that go down. I have responsibilities to make sure that I can stand up and actually do it and make it forward and pursue it and get it done and follow through. And I'm so thankful to be able to be a person, to be able to be here, to be able to constantly keep doing what I'm doing, to be able to show you and explain to you and talk to you about what it is that you should also start to work on and start to worry about. And stop thinking that if I don't do that work anymore, then what am I going to have? And I'm going to say, you know, if you believe in God, I'm going to tell you, he's going to do something to be able to make your world different. He's going to do something to change everything about you. But every single time that you're the one that's trying to fight it, it's you. You're God at that moment. And he's going to say, okay, well, do it then. Go ahead and make it happen. Go see where you go with that. But the more that you just sit back and not just sit back and do nothing, because there's some things that I feel like we have to do. And in reality, sit back, do nothing. And I'm going to say that's praying. You're going to sit back and pray. You're going to sit back and ask. You're going to sit back and come up with ideas. You're going to sit back and come up with inspiration. You're going to sit back and something's going to come to you, and you're going to sit back and just keep praying about it is what I'm going to say. But don't try to fight it. Don't try to force it. Just know that God's going to bring you to do something that is going to be able to help the next person. He's going to be able to bring you something that's going to be able to make sure that that person sees who God truly is. And that's the plague that's going to spread on this planet. The whole concept of doing good. Because you're going to start doing good for people, and people are going to start seeing, like, why are you doing that? And you're like, I'm just doing that because I just want to. I want to help you. I want to do something for you to watch you grow, to get you in a better place. I don't want to sell you something I know is going to hurt you, to slow you down. But I want to sell you something that's going to watch you move and cruise and be able to love more, be able to have more. And when that starts happening, that plague is going to be outrageous, because we're not going to be able to not know the fact that God is real if something like that were to happen. And I feel like that's part of the start of my mission, to make sure that I've been doing and continue to do even on a greater level with what keeps coming to me, with what keeps happening to me. When I decide to let myself not be the show. When I'm not the show anymore, I allow God to be the show. I allow God to be able to take control. And I'm just going to sit back and just allow him to make it happen, so that you can see what's going on and you can see what's happening. That God is real, that he's not some fake fairy tale, that this is real and it's real life. That things that happen to me, it's strange. There's no way that I could set it up today. And I feel like I'm purposely putting this immense amount of pressure on God to really just start to move some things forward, I feel like. Not for me, but for the world. Because I'm going to be able to explain some things and show some things and be able to tell stories of some things that it's just, there's no way I could have did it. Because I'm telling you, there's no way I did it. I didn't do it. I didn't put it together. I didn't make the phone calls. I didn't make the ads to make the people to call. I didn't do any of that. I just prayed and I said, God, this is what you need me to do, then let's do this. Let's make it happen. And more that things start to just happen with it, I'm going to have to share it and show it with you, so to show you that this is real. This is serious. And I want more people to be able to just know that the work that you're doing, if you're not happy with it, but you got to do something different. And that's something different, I'm going to say, is start praying and start asking. And ask God. Don't try to fight for it, but fight for God, to fight for you, to be able to get it done. And I hope that more people would have a good understanding of knowing what that's all about, so that you can break away from destroying other people's lives, so you can survive, to actually helping other people's lives so that they can thrive. Thank you.